Well, we welcome you to Blues Game Day Live alongside Joe Vitale, Darren Pang. We're in, oh man, we are in Philadelphia, big
City
fella.
of brotherly
When you
love,
think
yeah.
of Philadelphia and you think of being here for a game, do you think of going out for dinner at a good Italian restaurant?
Of course, hole in the wall, bring your own bottle.
Good spot, huh?
We had a great spot.
Yeah, really good spot.
We had the ravioli, the bolognese last night.
Yeah,
You got the bronzino.
Yeah. Oh, I did get the bronzino. Very healthy.
It looked good. You didn't share any. It looked like it was tasty.
I think that set up a pretty good day today for us.
It was going to be good. I'm feeling good.
Pumped up about this game?
I'm excited. Yeah, I love this building. A lot of good rivalries
You like
here for
playing
me.
here?
Oh, I love playing here. We have some good playoff series here against this team, and I know Braden Shen was a part of that. And great building. They have great M&Ms up in the press box, and I look forward to getting some of those
Good
tonight.
M&Ms? So you were a healthy scratch a couple times?
That was a few. And
that's
suspensions, a couple suspensions.
A couple
mixed in the mix,
suspensions.
yeah.
Did you and Braden Shen ever really get at it?
So we did. We battled pretty hard, actually. And there was one where I started a line brawl. I hit Danny Briere off a face-off. And Shen, they're trying to let Shen go, and he wanted a piece of me. But, you know, Briere was hurt. You know, it was a 5-on-4. I had Derek England, Aaron Asham, Craig Adams, a lot of fighters on our side. And I was actually the one person who started. I didn't fight anyone, but Braden Shen wanted a piece of me. And I'm glad the refs held me back. Let's put it that way. Or held him back, for that matter.
Boy, oh boy, that sounds great. So this is a pretty intimidating place to play.
Can be.
So we got a young goaltender, 25 years old. Jordan Binnington's going to play his first NHL game. You remember your first NHL game?
I remember my first NHL game. We won.
Like this is his first start. Sorry, he's appeared in a couple of games, but this is his first start.
It's the excitement, the emotion, but what's it like? I mean, there's got to be a difference between coming in relief and knowing the night before you're starting a game. You remember your first start?
Yeah, I absolutely do. It was at the old Met Center in Minnesota against the old Minnesota North Stars. But I remember thinking the other day about Binnington coming into a game at home. The game, obviously, when you go in and then Jake Allen was pulled, the game's not competitive. I said, I'm looking forward to Jordan Binnington coming into a competitive start. And by that, I mean, this is his game. He gets to prepare all day as if he's the starter. He's going to, you get nervous, there's no question. But I think the players like Jordan, he's spent over 205 games in the minors. He's 40 games in the East Coast Hockey League, 164 games in the American Hockey League, 153 Ontario Hockey League games. He's paid his dues.
Yes,
he's ready for it. Last year he played for Providence of the American Hockey League, Joe, because he was on loan, and that kind of was a little bit of maybe a kick in the rear end for him. I mean, hey, I'm signed by the Blues, but I'm not even playing for their affiliate, and all he did was play like an all-star.
Yeah.
So I think he's ready for this spot, and at least he's in control of this position.
Yeah, I like that he has the opportunity to know a couple days out that you're starting. I think that's really the only time you can really get a fair shot, a fair look at a goaltender. And listen, he's been playing very well in St. Antonio. They like his play down there. They sent him down there to get a few games while Evan Fitzpatrick was up here. Now he's back. He's going to be
all he did was go 3-0.
He's going to be going against a good team here tonight, and a power play that's, although not doing well in the standings, a very threatening power play. But I like Jordan Binnington, and I like, as a player, I remember when you have a backup or a young goaltender in, something different about when you approach the game as a centerman or a defenseman. You kind of find a way to tighten up a little bit more defensively because you want to get this kid a good win.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think everybody bears down just a little bit more, and I think the attention to detail, the little things to defend and to help them out, and it's the guys that have played with him in the minors too. There's a little relationship there, and but getting that first save will be important. This is an intimidating building. Philly will have last change, like you said, between Wayne Simmons in front of the net. As you're watching the game, I mean, he's really good in front of the net, good net front presence, a little different than a guy in the American Hockey League. The speed of the play, the transition from the D to the forwards. I found now I was called up as a 20-year-old, so that was my first game. I was a little bit overwhelmed and didn't belong there. But years later, when I was in the same spot as Jordan, the timing of the transition through the neutral zone was what I adapted to way better. So you're in the net and you're kind of getting yourself set because they're on the rush. Well, the first few times you do it, you're not quite prepared because they've entered your zone really quick, and now they're there. And then the more experience you have, the more you can time the way you come out of the net and then back up with the play and see the flow and see the play develop. And I think that'll be one thing for Jordan Binnington, because you still have Shane Gostisbehere, you've got Ivan Provorov, you've got some guys for Philadelphia that can get that puck up the ice, and they have some skilled players too. So it's going to come at them rather quickly. So I think that'll be the biggest adjustment early for him.
Oh yeah, I think it's just funny you mentioned all those players, and it's hard to believe that this team is so
Philly.
far down in the standings, and they are, because, and especially the power play. I looked at the power play numbers this morning, and it's kind of stifled me for a little bit to think of Giroux and Voracek and Van Riemsdyk in front. You mentioned Simmons in front of the net there, Gostisbehere up at the point. So many weapons, and I tell you what, for Jordan Binnington, it's going to be a big test here for tonight on the power play as well.
Two guys that are going for them, and they've been together, but Couturier and Claude Giroux. And I think for the Blues, I think we're seeing some chemistry there, and David Perron was talking about it the other day. He and Ryan O'Reilly have found a little bit of a niche together as well. So it's amazing that both these teams are where they are in the standings, because on any given night they can both beat the best teams in the NHL. Maybe the Blues can take advantage of a young goalie too. Carter Hart is going to start again. They were leading in their last game against Matthew Tkachuk in Calgary, and then bang, Tkachuk ties it at 2-2, and then he sets up the game winner in overtime. And that was a tough blow here for the Philadelphia Flyers. Maybe the Blues can take advantage of that lack of confidence on home ice in their last game.
You would hope so. 0-6 in the last 6 starts here, and Philadelphia's been struggling since Christmas. You got a young goaltender, the first D pairing, a couple young first rounders, one's 21, one's 22 years old. So you hope to take advantage of that youth on the back end. For the Blues, get in the offensive zone, and you want to chip one in early, because the Philadelphia Flyers, much like the Blues in some ways, are a fragile group. And when you get up by 1 or 2, that's when you can see these teams kind of give in and cash in the chips and everything. So, but the Blues too, it's one of those funny things where the record hasn't shown it. But Craig Berube was talking about the performance last game. So I'm pretty happy. I'm happy with how we're performing. Listen, you give up 14 shots against. You're not going to lose many games in this league.
No, you're not. You got to find a way. When the game's 2-1, you got to find a way. You got a couple of power plays and put the dagger in. I was disappointed, I think, in the power play when the game was on the line, when you knew it was an important power play, and not just to not score on the power play, because you're not going to score on every power play, Joe, but there was nothing, and there wasn't enough sustained pressure for a full 2 minutes that wore down the other team, that kept everybody energized, that kept the spirits and hope. Instead, it was one done, let's regroup, and let's go again. I think that's an area that they really have to fix here in the close hockey games. There's another matchup here that I'm enjoying. Nolan Patrick, number 19 for Philadelphia, the number 2 overall pick behind Nico Hischier a couple of years ago, and the 20th overall pick was Robert the Thomas.
Tank engine.
And I tell you what, this is a pretty good matchup right here.
It is.
Both, highly accomplished center icemen, one in the Western Hockey League and one in the Ontario Hockey League. But I think this should be a pretty competitive matchup, especially for Robert Thomas going up against a guy that went number 2 overall.
Yeah, we have a lot of youth in the lineup tonight, and just to touch on Robert Thomas, I think his game continues to evolve. He's just so fun to watch, and the way he's so slippery, he's kind of looking more and more every day like Jaden Schwartz out there. The way he's so elusive, he'll lose defenders, and he gets the good open spots. And I was talking to Braden Shen about him a few days ago, and I said, what's it like having Thomas with you? He just like, oh man, he's so smart.
Yeah.
He's such a good playmaker, and he's so young and raw, and that's playing to his advantage, where maybe he's not getting wound up or tied up into things. But it's just been a lot of fun to watch those three ever since Vladdy went down with the illness. He's been put on that line, and a young player who's really grabbed the opportunity and has taken it.
Nice to see Zach Sanford score a goal in the last game.
Yeah.
He's been working on those tip-ins in front of the net. The Blues still doing a really good job of getting pucks through from the point, and you know what that's like. Go to the front of the net. You want pucks to get through.
Yeah.
And so that's another area to look at for tonight's game against young goaltender Carter Hart and the D of the Philadelphia Flyers. Looking at the skate right now, well, they got Steen, O'Reilly, and Prawn line. They remain together. You're going to break it down while we...
Solid line. You want to keep an eye on the lines? Okay.
We can do one of those morning breakdowns here. Schwartz, Shen, Tarasenko.
Still going back with that line.
Going back to that line.
Okay.
They had success a couple of games ago going 11 forwards and 7 defensemen. Not sure if that's going to be a play again, but Joel Edmondson didn't play in the last game. And I'm sure that they want to get him back into the game as soon as possible, and he's an effective defenseman. He's a big part of the future of the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, he is, and I think that he's a top 4 defenseman. I think that kind of made a lot of noise at the beginning when he was scratched. Why are you scratching top 4 defenseman? But I think Joe will be the first one to admit his numbers have slid off here. Not a lot of points in that last stretch. He's been a minus player, and I think Craig Berube a healthy scratch that sent a message. And I think that's
he's done that a number of times.
Not just to Joel Edmondson, but if you're on this Blues roster and you see a player like Joel Edmondson, someone who's so crucial to the success of this team, scratch, you know it can be anybody.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And that's where you next time you get in, you basically get your game up to another level. It always gets the attention of players. Either it gets the attention of players or the player doesn't rise to the next occasion. And if he doesn't rise to the next occasion, then you're a little concerned about the player.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you that Joel Edmondson's going to up his game when he gets back into the lineup, and that may very well be tonight.
You say occasion, I say occasion. Either way.
Joe, what time's the broadcast on for you guys?
Well,
it's a 7 o'clock Eastern, which is
6
o'clock, which is a 5:30 pregame on both the radio side
we'll
on
be
KMOX.
On the 5:30 on the 55,000 watt blowtorch.
50,000 watt blowtorch, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You guys bring it to the people. Everybody can hear you from all over the place, like Saskatchewan, Manitoba, all through the prairies.
I think they're
probably
listening
Ontario.
to Kerber. I fill in. But
all the way through. So that'll be a good one here. And then what's back-to-back games?
Tomorrow night in Dallas, or actually in St. Louis first.
Yeah,
Dallas, yeah.
It's going to be a battle.
It's going to be a close one.
First
we haven't had back-to-back in a long time.
Yeah, we got to get this
We
thing
need to
going.
get our sleep.
We're going to do the same thing on the TV side on Fox Sports Midwest. John Kelly and I have the call, and Bernie and Scott have the pregame show as well. So we're looking forward to this one. Look for Jordan Binnington getting his first NHL start and going up against a really terrific goaltender, too, in Carter Hart. You ready to go, big guy?
I'm excited.
You look pretty serious.
Let's go.
Okay. For Joe Vitale, I'm Darren Pang. Enjoy your day, everybody.